Hello and welcome to the second part in nativelang.com's course on how to use the IPA to learn about pronunciation in language. Like vowels, when we talk about consonants in the context of phonetics in the IPA, we don't tend to say the letter B or the consonant B. Instead, we distinguish features, the building blocks that make up consonants. For starters, we'll consider three basic features of consonants. First, where in your mouth do you make this consonant sound? In other words, where's the consonant sound coming from in your mouth? The linguistic term for that is place of articulation. You articulate the sound somewhere, so that's the place of articulation. There are multiple places of articulation that help us distinguish where the sound is coming from. If it involves both of your lips, like the sound P, that's going to be a bilabial sound. Bilabial meaning both lips. If it involves your tongue against your upper teeth, that's going to be a dental sound, like th. If you place your tongue against the back of the gum ridge above your upper teeth, that's an alveolar sound, like s. If you run your tongue up from your gum ridge further back towards your palate, you can make a postalveolar sound like sh, and then eventually you'll get to your palate, the roof of your mouth, that produces a palatal sound, like y. Further back in your mouth, you have your velum, that produces a velar sound like k. Inside your throat, you have a glottis, and that produces a glottal sound, like the catch in your throat in We've skipped some places of articulation, but that's a good start. That covers where you pronounce sounds, but what about how you pronounce them? That's called the manner of articulation. If you force air up through your nose, that's a nasal sound, so you can put your tongue against your gum ridge, but force the air up through your nose, which produces the sound N. You could momentarily stop the airflow to make a stop or a plosive. So the sound K is a velar sound. It involves the back of your mouth. That's its place of articulation, and the stopping of air, which makes it a plosive. That's its manner of articulation. Another type of sound is a fricative, from Latin meaning to rub. That involves the kind of continuous, restricted, hissing airflow between your tongue and wherever you're producing the sound, or in the case of the bilabial fricative, between your two lips. So if you close your lips and you produce a fricative sound by letting the air hiss through, you get a Japanese F sound. If you move your tongue up to your alveolar ridge where you made that nasal sound N, and instead let the air continue to pass through your tongue and gum ridge, you get the Z sound. Another type or manner of articulation is the approximant, which includes the glides Y and W in English. So there are more manners of articulation, just like there were more places of articulation. The third feature to distinguish here is voicing, which involves letting the vocal cords in your voice box vibrate together, opening and closing them really fast. When you do that, you actually produce a voiced sound instead of a voiceless sound. Vowels are typically all voiced, that's where they get their name from in fact, but consonants can be voiceless. The classic test to tell a difference between voiced sounds and voiceless sounds is to put your fingers against your throat. You'll feel that your throat vibrates whenever you say a voiced sound, and it doesn't whenever you say a voiceless sound. There are sounds that have the same place of articulation and manner of articulation but differ in voicing only. For instance, S and Z are pronounced the same way at the same place in your mouth, but S is voiceless and Z is voiced. You can't see it, but my throat's vibrating. You can try it for yourself. Just as with vowels, we can lay consonants out on a chart by their component features. This time on the y-axis, we'll take manner of articulation. On the x-axis, we'll take place of articulation. And the z-axis will be voiced, voiceless pairs. Since this is two-dimensional, we'll write that as voiceless sound, comma, voiced sound. For instance, S, comma, Z, in the same place and manner of articulation. I'll read some basic consonant sounds off to you. in this chart so you can hear them and associate them with the individual IPA symbols. P, B, T, D, K, G, F, V, V, S, Z, Sh, Ž, H, H, Č, J, L, R, Y, W,